Hi everyone, John here from LookSmart Home Inspections right here in New Jersey. And today I want to talk to you about condo inspections and townhouse inspections and how they differ or not differ from regular standard home inspections. So I get this question, what is the difference between a condo or townhouse inspection versus a single family home inspection? And the answer is they're not really that much different. They're really the same process. They're the same process. We're looking at everything we can, top to bottom, being as comprehensive as we possibly can. And you guys see my cat right there. So say hi to Maggie. They're really the same type of inspection. So a lot of times I'll get the question, why are you looking at the outside of the condo or this townhouse? You know what? Because there's an association and they take care of everything. Do they? Do they really take care of everything? Seriously? So a client's going to pay me to do a home inspection, right? And so I'm supposed to just go through the front door and just start on the inside without even paying attention whatsoever to the outside? I don't think so. That's not really going to happen. So a good home inspector, even though that's true that a condo or townhome, the majority of the outside problems or defects are going to be handled by that management association or management team that handles the building. But you still need to know what's going wrong on the outside of your condo or townhouse, right? It's still really good information because you, as a buyer of a townhome or condo, are going to be paying association dues, right? You're going to pay monthly for the condo board or the maintenance people there to deal with all of the problems on the outside. But shouldn't you know what the problems are on the outside before you purchase it, right? You don't want to be surprised. So that's why it's really important. Good home inspectors are not going to forego looking at the outside of a condo or a townhouse. And I'll take it even a step further. We want to even look at some of those common areas that are important to you. So if you say, John, I want you to look at this laundry. No problem. I'll look at the laundry. You want me to look at the basement, which is a common area too? No problem. I'll look at whatever you want me to look at as a client of mine. I'm there to work for you. I'm not going to say, nope, that's beyond my scope. That's a common area. I can't look at that. That's up to you to deal with. That's crazy to me. That's not what we're there to provide a service. We're there to provide a professional, objective opinion on what you guys are hiring us to do. So listen, when you're hiring a home inspector, you want to find somebody who is willing to do, these outside areas on these condos and townhouses too, and not just skip them and enter the home and start inspecting the interior of the home, sort of washing their hands of the outside stuff, because the outside stuff can be really important if the condo or townhome needs a new roof or the sidewalk is all heaved in an area and you have a busted up sidewalk or handrails and guardrails that are all loose. Listen, that's stuff that's going to have to be fixed. And although it doesn't come out of your pocket directly, it comes out of your pocket indirectly, right? Because you're paying into the association dues. So please keep that in mind, people, when you're hiring a home inspector. Make sure they go the extra mile and look at the exterior of your condo or townhouse. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is inspection report summaries. I know some home inspectors put a summary in their home inspection. Others don't put a summary in their home inspection. There's a lot of sort of debate about, whether home inspectors should put a summary or not put a summary and, going back and forth on this. Well, I want to tell you, a summary is worthwhile. A summary is important. And for 20-something plus years, I've always included a summary in my home inspection reports. And I think it's important, and here's why. Is because a summary is certainly not going to be expressing all of the issues in the house, right? The summary is going to basically give you, the buyer, the crux of the material defects, the bigger issues that exist in the home. And I think it's important for you as a buyer to kind of understand or have a starting point for understanding the larger issues. Of course, most of you are going to attend the home inspection, so you will know what the big issues are. But it's important to have that written out for you so you and your attorney actually can start focusing on those, say, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 of the larger inspection items that we find during the home inspection. Without a summary, you're kind of wading through like this, this report. It's a long report, and you're trying to think to yourself, well, was that important? Or what's this about? And what did John say about this? Or what did the home inspectors say about that? And I think the summary gives you the basis of beginning to understand what the big issues are. Now, some home inspectors won't put a summary, and they'll make the argument, well, if I put a summary and I don't include X, Y, and Z on a summary, and then the client doesn't read the report, then I'm going to have an unhappy client. Well, number one, you tell your client that, hey, this is a summary. I mean, you guys are smart enough to know what a summary is. A summary is basically the cliff notes. It's the summary of the inspection. It's not the entire inspection, but it's the important areas that the home inspector, thinks that want to bring to light in that first couple of pages of the report. You're smart enough to know that that's not the whole home inspection report. And, I think it's real important to do that. Some home inspectors will tell you that, for liability reasons, I don't put a summary on there because, what if my client comes back at me? If I put a couple of things on a summary and I don't include this other thing, well, I mean, the same thing holds true. I mean, I've never had a client say, gee whiz, John, you should have put, this loose doorknob in the summary. Why isn't that loose doorknob in the summary? Never had that happen. That's just doesn't, right? You guys are smarter than that. So I think it's important to hire a home inspector who actually produces a summary for you. I think it's a great thing. I think it's an intelligent thing to do. I think your attorney would appreciate it also. And that doesn't mean you have to not include other areas of concern in your request list to the seller of the home. You can certainly ask for more additional things, other than the summary. But it's just a starting point. So I really think a summary is important. I've had great success through the decades of, providing my clients with a summary, and they really appreciate it as well. So, think about that. I think a summary on a home inspection report is an important piece of that report. So guys, upcoming, I have some defects that were recently found in a house or two that I was just recently doing home inspections for this past week. And one of the houses I want to bring to your attention is a home that the agent said, nah, you don't need to get this house inspected. This is a good price. You don't need to get it inspected because you're getting this house at such a good price. Is it really such a good price when you have to, put 120 plus thousand maybe in a home to get it back up to, where the market should be for this house, where the house condition should be? Is that really a bargain? So I want you to really pay attention to that. And if you're thinking about you're getting a bargain, right? Real estate, is there really such a thing as a bargain now? Is there really such thing as, oh, I got such a great deal on this house? Does that really exist anymore? I want you to really think about that question. So if you're thinking about buying a home and, people are telling you, whether it's the agent or somebody else, friends of yours, maybe the seller even, is telling you not to get that house inspected because you're getting it such a good price, I guarantee 1,000 red flags are going to come up in that home inspection. So please do yourself a favor and do your wallet a favor and do your sanity a favor. You must have that home inspected. So my client was smart about things. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get a home inspector in here. I'm going to have this house inspected because I don't know, this is my first time purchasing a home. I know analytics. What do I know about houses, right? So, he's not a professional in the trades. He's just somebody who's looking to move his family into a home. So I want you guys to be really, really careful with that, is waiving your right to a home inspection and putting offers in on homes, without, inspection contingencies. That is something you should absolutely not do. I don't care how great a deal the house appears to be. Because if you look really smartly at today's, real estate environment, you will find that there are few good deals and very few and far between, for sure. So take a look at these defects and, maybe you can apply them to your houses that you're looking for, or just your own home. So let's take a look and see what we have. One of the things we look for is unsafe electrical wiring, and we see we have open air splices. We have a light bulb that's just attached, it's spliced into this box. I mean, look at that. It's awful. This can burn your house down for sure. Over here, look what we have. Another homeowner special right there with that light fixture. We go over here to the hot water heater, or the water heater, I should say. We got open air splice over here. Just a mess. So electrical contractors definitely going to have to be bought in here. Loose wires just hanging, they should be supported. We got this rat's nest, all this spaghetti over here going into the panel box. All this is not really safe. So this is why we do home inspections, guys. One thing I like to do when I'm under a deck and I have posts like this that are buried in the soil is I like to remove some of the dirt. And you can see here that we have a lot of wood decay under this post because our water is just wicking into it. But we would never see that if we don't remove the dirt. So this is something that's really important, and we really need to look for this. There's nothing under this post at all. It's completely shot. That's a vent for a high efficiency, either water heater or furnace. And it's discharging under this rear porch, which is an enclosed porch. So we can't have this vent discharging carbon monoxide under a living space like this. Even though it is open, this is an improper installation. You can see it venting right there, and that carbon monoxide can actually leach into the living space. So this is definitely going to have to be relocated for safety reasons. Here we have our front gutter system discharging into the sanitary sewer right here. So that's our sanitary sewer, and our gutter system is discharging into it. And this is a problem because that is a lot of water entering the sanitary sewer that can overrun your sewer line, and then you can have a backup and have a big problem in the basement, unsanitary conditions, things like that. Most municipalities have not approved this. So we're going to talk to the municipality and determine if this is actually acceptable, but generally it is not. So we're going to most likely have to reroute this line to the outside away from the house or into a dry well rather than discharge the gutters at the front of the home to the sanitary sewer. We also have the sump pump discharging into the sanitary sewer, so that also makes a problem even worse because we have the sump pump and the groundwater from the sump pump also going into our older sewer line. We want to try to avoid this if possible. So generally, this connection and something like this are generally not allowed anymore. So I'm under a deck, and you see that they put these temporary screw jack style columns here. There's 3 of these columns in place right here. And most likely they're doing that because the deck has a slope away from the house. But these columns here are not designed for permanent support. And we can see that they're not even attached. At least this one is not attached. So that is no bueno. And then we're going to move down here and see that at least put them in correctly, right? So this is a structural problem. Our deck is sloped away from the house. Major fortifications are going to be necessary here, to avoid injury. We have a high deck, and obviously we want it supported correctly. And this is no bueno. This is the same deck with the screw jack columns. And there, how the heck are we holding a ledger on the house? All I see here are just some nails. This has to be lag bolted or through bolted or properly attached to the home, and we have nothing here. Nothing here holding this ledger attachment. This is a crucial point where the deck meets the house, and if decks fail, it's usually here at the attachment to the home. So this has to be done much better. And the things that I'm seeing here with this deck as far as safety issues, it's likely that this deck is going to require replacement. I mean, look at this spacing. This is the other side of the deck. Look at that spacing. This is not safe. You can't have a deck like this. It's going to be a trampoline up in here. And it's unfortunate because we're going to have to tell a client this deck is unsafe. And I don't really like to do that. I generally try not to do it unless it's absolutely necessary. But in this case, it is absolutely necessary.
She's like, that they're next, that they want to help next.
Yes, I got you. Yes, I got you. I've been waiting.
You guys want something like kind of multi-family, right? That's what you guys said? Like they want like two.
Yeah, you can live in one and rent the other one, and you.
If you look way up there, you see some carpenter bee holes. And when we have a wood exterior house like this, many times we'll see carpenter bee activity or bee holes like this. So what happens is carpenter bees lay their eggs, and then the woodpeckers come and they try to get those larvae and eggs, and they open the holes a little bit larger. You can see a little bit more over here. So carpenter bees are one of the things that we look for on the wood destroying insect part of a home inspection. And this is especially important if you have a wood exterior of a home. So this should be treated because carpenter bees will return every year to lay their eggs. They come back every year to the same place. They're not as significant as, say, termites, but they are a nuisance and a wood destroying insect. And they can be somewhat aggressive at times. So for sure, it has to be treated for carpenter bees. When your heating isn't adequate, let's put a big old fire pit, hang it from the ceiling. Let's have carpet under it so we can really burn our house down. So this is something you do not want to do. You have to certainly be careful with things like this. I hate this because if embers come out, they're going to ignite your carpeting, and all of a sudden you have a huge fire. You go to bed at night, there's embers smoldering. None of this is good. I'm going to recommend removal of this. This thing is unsafe. I see a lot of these spiral staircases lately, but they never meet requirements for safety. Have big openings here, more than 4 inches, a child's safety hazard here. And of course, our steps get very narrow towards the inside edge here. So your foot is not going to grab that step all the way. Definitely a tripping hazard. So be careful when you're thinking about buying a home with these type of spiral staircases. Generally speaking, an inherent tripping hazard, you really have to be careful with these. I know homes are expensive in New Jersey, but look at the benefits that we have here. So we have house loaded with problems, and then also as an added bonus we get this stack of asbestos tiles just for the buyer. So asbestos tiles right here, left for the buyer, and there you go. So how are we supposed to properly dispose of these tiles? So even stuff like this that's left behind really should be noted in a home inspection report, so your buyer does have the ability, hopefully, to negotiate removal of this. Because who wants this? This is old, asbestos-containing tile. Nobody wants this. It's got to be removed.